President Clinton opens the way for trade with Hanoi. American business applauds. Some veterans groups call it a money-driven sellout.
This is the CBS Evening News with Connie Chung in Portland, Oregon, and Dan Rather in New York.
Good evening. 19 years after the war ended, President Clinton today lifted the U.S. trade embargo against Vietnam, clearing the way for potentially billions of dollars in business with Hanoi. The president rejected appeals from some veterans groups and families of the still missing in action. CBS News White House correspondent Rita Braver reports.
President Clinton said his decision was based on one factor only:
gaining the fullest possible accounting for our prisoners of war and our missing in action. We owe that to all who served in Vietnam and to the families of those whose fate remains unknown.
Lifting the embargo does not mean the resumption of diplomatic relations with Vietnam, but there will be liaison offices opened by the U.S. in Hanoi and by Vietnam in Washington. While U.S. business has urged an end to the embargo because of the potentially valuable consumer market in Vietnam, Mr. Clinton insisted that economics played no part in his decision. And he said that Vietnam has become more cooperative in the last year on finding the remains of Americans still missing in the war, and can be expected to help account for 2,238 Americans whose whereabouts in Southeast Asia have never been known. Many veterans groups have supported Mr. Clinton.
A lot of people fought in that war and have been affected by it in a very deep way. And what happens today actually ends the Vietnam War.
But the head of the National League of Families blasted the decision, saying the administration has let the Vietnamese stonewall.
In our view, he's reneged on his promise to the families and the veterans that he would have to be personally assured that Vietnam is being fully cooperative.
And the president said that criticism that he was a draft dodger in the Vietnam War did not make his decision more difficult.
Everybody my age, whether they were in Vietnam or not, knew someone who died there, knew someone who was wounded there. And I think people in our generation are perhaps more insistent on trying to get a full accounting, more obsessed with it than perhaps people who are younger.
The White House says the president's advisors were unanimous in recommending an end to the embargo. The Senate had passed a resolution supporting the move. Nevertheless, it was clearly a difficult decision for President Clinton. Rita Braver, CBS News at the White House.
Here in Portland, Oregon, another day of practice for skater Tanya Harding. She's still working out every day right here behind me, fully expecting she'll compete later this month at the Olympics in Norway. Meanwhile, the FBI is now examining scraps of paper found in the trash bin of a Portland restaurant. They may shed new light on the attack on Harding's Olympic teammate Nancy Kerrigan. The scraps contain the names of skating rinks where Kerrigan practiced. No word yet on who wrote them. For her part, Harding again said here at the rink today she has faith she will be vindicated.
I don't know, I go day by day. Hopefully everything's going to work out. God will take over and he'll make everything right.
Even so, it is still an open question whether Tanya Harding will or won't compete in the Olympics. The answer depends on a complicated chain of questions about the law and about sportsmanship. But who makes the final decision on Harding, and how will they make it? Correspondent Vicki Mabry is tracking that part of the story from U.S. Olympic headquarters in Colorado Springs.
Tanya Harding's Olympic hopes rest in the hands of two groups. One, the United States Figure Skating Association, has a special